This is RMX round 4 south, round 4 north. Combination, I guess you call it round 7 of the summer series.
I want to throw you
one-
off, and I want to understand why is it darker at the beginning of the show than it is later halfway through?
I have no idea. We're just starting.
They're just clouds. So Chase didn't botch the original intro? Okay, cool. So it is. We're 7th race. We had 3 south, 3 north, first Triple Crown. This is round 7 total, round 4 south, round 4 north, first round Triple Crown.
You nailed it, Gary. All right, we got Joe Horner, myself, Chase, with Brook Amateur Racing, and we got Ryden Morgan, Gary Bruff, Coy Bruff, Gerhart, Carson Gerhart. Off to the side you can't see is Riley. And, yeah, we're going to get into this post-race show. Let's go right into track prep and conditions. Me and Sam had a little debate. We were wondering if everyone was struggling here in this S section right before the finish, if it was because of track prep and the condition of it, or because we've been off for 5 weeks. Because we saw a lot of guys tipping over, getting off balance, some deep ruts, a lot of lines. What is it? What do you think, Coy?
That was pretty brutal. Yesterday, those ruts were like canyons all the way through. Yeah, I think probably a little bit of both. They were pretty brutal, but there's probably been some people that haven't touched a dirt bike in a month.
Right.
But it was getting everybody for sure.
What do you think, Joe?
I think that the ruts weren't just like perfect arcs is the other thing. I think once you got the hang of it, it was fine, but they weren't perfect arcs, and I think you're right. I think people were off, and I think that we had a lot of people riding, people that were excited to come out and ride it, and I think it was – we didn't have like that started off – I guess we had a practice day, but ultimately, it's like working into it. I think by today, everybody that rode today probably rode a slightly less rutted track and did good, right? There was less of that. So I think it was just a little bit of all of it. But the ruts were definitely going some directions you didn't expect them to go. And that's just the way it goes.
And did you guys add more sand? Did you rip it deeper? Or is this always Cache Valley prep?
I think we have a few things going on. I think we had 3 weeks of maybe people riding stuff we don't prep. A little blue groove, a little hard pack, chasing some regional stuff, chasing some local tracks. You mix that in with the fact that Cache Valley's always a little softer than most. Chris Hymas, Pocatello Power Sports, paid for north of 40 loads of sand. Those started getting delivered before the Weimar camp, so I want to say 30 of them showed up before the camp, got worked in. 10 more showed up after the camp, worked in right before the race. And that combination of a lot of water, deep ruts, loamy conditions, if you're not riding that all the time, it takes a second. Because Friday practice looked like we maybe needed some dudes with training wheels. Like, I always say, like, lack of talent and gravity and motorcycles don't go well together. And Friday looked like a lot of like dudes that hadn't seen ruts and gravity combo. It's a long day. We were picking up a lot of dirt bikes.
Yeah, a lot of
But
guys tipping over.
it came around.
A lot of going across the pro pits, the pro start. You see a lot of scoops, sand scoops. Not something you usually see probably around these parts. So that was cool. Dirt's deep, loamy.
But yeah, as far as prep goes, I mean, it was the standard Cache Valley MX prep. We ripped it with the Machio, put a lot of water on it. Brandon Susi ran the water truck. Kids were on the hoses. Maybe had a couple of youngsters get a little crazy with some hoses. Banquet was going on Friday night, right? So maybe the supervision of the dudes on hoses wasn't exactly what we wanted. So I think we did start out a little bit on the greasy side Saturday morning. It came around pretty quick. I'll be the first to admit I think we dodged a bullet because we used to go all the way from big bike practice down to 50s and then go racing. When we have a mutter, we always do hey, let's push the little guys into the afternoon. And, we always make that adjustment, right? We've done it over the years. we've permanently made that adjustment so the little guys can sleep in and get better conditions. And it honestly worked in our favor, because if we would have sent 50 practice at 8 o'clock Saturday morning with slightly overwatered or marginally overwatered, it wouldn't have been fun. It's not very often we fire up the dozer and have to push in a berm, and that happened. We won't hide from it. We won't deny it. It was, if you were in those vet practices in the morning, big bikes, that couldn't have been fun. But before we started motos, before we sent the kids on 80s, we pushed in a little bit of material, and it came around and worked out pretty good.
It's a little wet in the mornings, but I mean, we had one class with 50, 65 riders, something like that. We raced until 7:30 at night. I mean, it was a long day, so I think held moisture a little bit longer, and
yeah, I mean,
kind of paid off.
We went till 8 o'clock at night with over 1,000 entries. I mean, and there was no dust flying. So the kids sent it. RMX track crew is amazing. Those kids sent it. So, yeah.
Can we get this guy on camera real quick?
It
is July 4th today.
It is.
Look at this.
It is. But he wears that on any Tuesday in June,
This is
too.
just his normal attire.
Yeah.
This is our local
Going to
Aaron
Logan
Plessinger.
to find some local Logan talent.
You're not going to tear it off like Magic Mike, are you?
I see a zipper. There's no buttons there to just rip it right
That
off.
top one made me nervous, so look kind of the Velcro look going. Just waiting for him just to rip it off. You can
got
if
a
you want,
Speedo
Mike. I
under
mean, it's
there?
your deal, buddy. If you want to just go wild, I mean, you just tear it off right now if you want, whatever. America, buddy.
And you motoed in that. Bet you that was nice and cool, kind of like the vented gear. Oh, okay. You need to get a vented one of those suits. So, yeah, it was a good time. Riker, I like your style. You better go take that call. Thank you. Yep, go take that
Thanks,
call.
Reich.
Oh, we want to talk about the 2020 banquet.
Yeah, that worked out pretty good. I mean, we did struggle. We straight up struggled trying to figure it out, right? Like, we've gotten a groove. We had some good relationships with Dixie Center, Eckel Center in Ogden. Go indoors, plated mill, super organized, structured. We've been struggling to find a place. No, even right now, you're not putting 500 people in a conference room in Salt Lake City, Utah, and it's just not happening. So we made the decision to do it here at the track. We had debated, do we just hand out awards, have some ice cream, shoot up some fireworks, and call it? Like not even do a presentation, just hand you your awards at signups. And then we decided, same thing, the crew, like they were willing to bust their butts. I mean, they set up canopies, they roped off that area, they packed product around, they organized product. I think our crew is second to none. We have an amazing group that helps us, and next door, it's Acme ACME Fireworks. If you've noticed leaving here, the big commercial building, that is their distribution center. And they do public shows, and I had no idea. So about 3 weeks ago, Courtney and I were sitting out here just prepping for a practice, and it was like we had our own private fireworks show across the street. We had no idea they were there. So they were just doing a demo for some of the county fairs and stuff that they do, 4th of July fireworks. So went over and talked to them, and they were willing to come do something for us. So Fat Boy Creamery, just down the road. So it was all local, which was cool.
Super cool,
Like
yeah.
everything that we did at the banquet was local this year. As far as, the creamery, the fireworks, it's cool to support and give back to this little community. And I think it worked out really cool. Like it might even turn into some tradition because I enjoyed it. We'll get some feedback throughout the week, and we're open to feedback and criticism. And I do feel bad that we picked that little amphitheater hillside, right? And we knew the fireworks were going behind us, and all of a sudden I'm looking out and people are just squinting and trying to, yeah. I wish that it was one of those where it gets dark at 7:30 at night and we
Right.
had 2 hours of cooler temps, but we'll work on that. So yeah, the banquet was a good time. Like our sponsors stepped up as always. Courtney kept us in some really good product and worked with all the sponsors. Skull Candy stepped up this year.
Yeah, a bunch
and
of cool headphones.
Yeah, and you know the little dude on the 50, Levi Brace,
Yeah.
number 9? His dad is an exec at Skull Candy. I don't know his exact title, so I'm going to botch that. But at the end of the day, he got us with the right people, and it was really cool to add Skull Candy to the mix. You know, fly racing is going to always be there. You know, Rocky Mountain ATV is going to always be there. And I shouldn't even start down the list because I'm going to mess it up. But, you know, those are the 2 big players in the banquet every single year. But to have Skull Candy step up and what they did was cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. And the fireworks were pretty badass. I was not expecting them to be that gnarly when that finale went off.
Not at all.
And what was cool, we got to kind of come back here, sit in our own pits, right against the fence. Everyone kind of sat out. I think Joe and you guys sat out in the road, and it was kick-ass, man. It was way more than I was expecting.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know what we were up for, right? I mean, we have some local guys from Preston. They had all 10 fingers. So I was like, man, you guys really aren't that good at fireworks. Like, I mean, have you ever met a firework guy that actually has all 10 fingers?
Right.
Like, these guys are rookies, right? But actually, they must have been professionals because they pulled that off and had all their fingers. So, yeah, we got the right crew. We got their number. If you ever need it, let me know. I'll pass it along.
Awesome.
Let's talk some 450 racing because we have, or not 450, but 50cc racing, and then we'll get you out of here. So, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, my name's Ryan.
Rai or Ryden Morgan?
Pretty much Ryan and Ryan Morgan.
Yeah. So we got Ryden Morgan with us, bike number 29, qualified for Loretta's. I think we have an amazing story about your qualifier at Paula. Like, tell me what your scores were at Paula for the Loretta qualifier.
12-2.
12-2. That explains 50 racing, right? If you can go 12-2 and finish 4th, overall, yeah, exactly. So that explains 50 racing, which back to the banquet is all the more reason that Max Daniels is Mini Bike Rider of the Year because he won 4 championships in 50s. That just doesn't, like, 12-2s qualify for Loretta's. Sidetracked by the Traxxas car. It's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, we handed
So-
out like 30 of those.
We have you here for a second because we want to talk about the 50s real quick. You had some good motos. You got the overall in 50cc Open. You had some hole shots. Your biggest competition is who?
Sawyer.
Sawyer Geek. Does he go pretty fast?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, maybe the first moto today, if his shock maybe didn't blow out, I bet he could have passed me. But
Hold the mic up to your mouth. So what happened to Sawyer in the first moto?
well, I think his top of his shock blew out. The top bolt blew out.
So I like to give his dad a hard time. And, you know, when you say the shock blew out, that makes it sound like his suspension guy made a mistake. But what really happened was the shock bolt, the top mount, backed out, which means suspension guy did a really good job, shipped it back to their dad. Their dad installed it. So we're not going to blame this on the shock guy. We're going to whoever put the shock on the bike failed Sawyer is what you're saying.
No. Oh, yeah. Kinda.
Yeah. But either way, that got you a 1-1. Do you think you had him covered prior to that? Hold the mic up to your mouth.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Nice. Who else 50s goes really fast?
Probably
Who's-
Chance.
Who's that 123 on the KTM that got third yesterday?
123.
Is his last name Carter? You don't even know? You don't pay attention?
Mm,
I'll have to look at the results.
I think.
But all in
I
all,
don't know.
check this out. There was 18 50 advanced riders at practice on Friday. There was 39 50cc beginner riders, plus we still had PW50s. Like, we had over 60
People.
50cc riders here competing. That's cool. So we grabbed Rai here because we have 60-plus kids, and at the end of it, whoever wins 50cc All-Star was the man of the hour. So who won 50cc All-Star?
Me.
Yeah. So we'll let you go here quickly. I got to think there's some people that you should thank that help you win 50cc Open. Who is that?
Mom, Dad, Let's Ride, and yeah,
Who does your suspension?
891.
Oh, yeah. What kind of gear do you have?
I don't remember actually.
You don't know what kind of riding gear you have?
Oh, fly racing.
Oh, hold the mic up.
Fly racing.
What do you think I meant by gear?
The dirt bike. The dirt bike gear.
Oh, the dirt bike gear.
Yeah.
Isn't fly racing dirt bike gear?
Oh, kind of.
So we got fly racing helping you with some gear.
Mhm.
Let's Ride helping you with some dirt bikes.
Yes.
891 helping you with suspension.
Yes.
You see a trend here? Those are all sponsors of RMX. Support those that support the sport. If you help out RMX, like these kids are going to use your product, right? So would you want to help us get some more sponsors?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to you offline. Maybe we'll give you some commissions on that. Do you want to get the heck out of here now?
No.
Oh, you're good? You want to stick around?
Yeah.
When we talk 450 Pro Racing, you'll help us? Okay. Well,
Maybe, yeah.
Chase is ready to talk 450 Pro Racing or whatever he just reorganized. So thank you for the little insight on the 50 class.
And congrats on your win.
Do you know one person I think we should check up on? Pax Miller. Did anyone pay attention to how fast he's going now?
I missed him today.
Paxton. Just rolling, wasn't he? Yeah. Running podium spots up there in the 50 beginner class. He's starting to get up there. So keep an eye on him. 5 years old. It was fun. Chase, you're up.
All right, we're going on to 250C, 12 to 15. And this was Saturday's race. We got Jesse James 1-1, Braxton Morgan 2-2. Ryder Huffman?
Ryder Huffman.
Ryder Huffman?
Yeah, that's
3-3?
Wade's brother.
Wade's brother. Okay. I watched this moto yesterday. I believe Braxton is on a 125 gas. Hole shotted, led the entire moto. Last lap right here before you make this last right-hander before the rollers before the finish, he followed a lapper and kind of panicked while Jesse James was all over him, and he followed the lapper. The lapper bobbled, hit the back of the lapper. He went down, and Jesse James went around the outside and took the win after holding Jesse James off for 5 laps, riding his butt off.
I don't know if anyone watched it was another one of the younger C-Class motos, I believe. I think it was 450C. Deegan Gale won both motos, beat Jesse James and Brax Morgan both motos.
On the KTM.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
KTM 250. And that was pretty impressive because I don't think he's been on a big bike for that long, and not a 4-stroke at least.
So that bike says Deegan Gale on it. So he's got a brother.
He's got
and
a little
he's-
brother, Davin Gale, in the 65 class.
So I don't know who Deegan Gale is, right? Unless I read it wrong, but it's not his name on the. It doesn't say Gavin Gale on the side of it, right?
There's Davin is the little one, and Deegan's the older one.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
the
Deegan is it.
C-Class.
Deegan is
Okay.
31,
All right, Deegan's
KTM
it.
250F.
Yep. So I
Deegan was
watched
on
him.
Deegan was on a 125 at the beginning of this
Yep.
year, borrowed a 250F, and excelled quick.
Yeah. So I went and talked to him on the line, and I asked him what the deal was with that. I said, so where's the 125 at? And he said, well, we're not really sure. I'm like, what do you mean you're not sure if you're going to ride which one? He's like, yeah, we're still trying to decide. So
I think he should stay on the 250 if he's going to do that.
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
But in all of those C motos, I mean, at the end of the day, out front, Gale, Morgan, Huffman, Jesse, and I'm going to miss some because you got the results there. But at the end of the day, you look at that group of kids, they're going fast. And then when it gets really impressive is we start dropping gates on Open AM and Schoolboy 2, and those kids are right in the mix with the B class. So, sometimes someone might say C class, but at the end of the day, if you're up front of C class here at RMX, you're doing something cool because there's a lot of dudes.
Yeah, and they were going fast. I got their lap times here. Braxton Morgan went 140 flat. James 140.8. And, I mean, they were just a couple tenths off all 5 laps. And then until we get to lap 5, James with a 156.7 and Braxton Morgan 157.3. And that's where he got stuck in the lapper and lost first on that one.
So did he go around the outside with the lapper in the main line and then went to go inside and then the lapper was there and that's what got him? And Jesse went inside because the lapper wasn't, and then he went outside, and that's how he passed him, right?
So this on top of the hill here, you have the left. They both hit the main line.
Okay.
Lapper goes main line here,
Yep.
which is the inside on the
Yep.
right. Braxton followed. Jesse
he
James
did follow,
did
okay.
not follow. Went to the outside. Braxton
Also,
hits the back
all right.
of him,
Okay.
goes down.
Yep.
Jesse James rode around the outside and
Yep.
took the checkered.
Yep.
So
And
a little
that-
bit of pressure.
And maybe we're gonna get the pro tip from Coy about that outside, because that outside didn't work very good for most riders, and I'm pretty sure I know why, and we'll see. Last time I thought I knew why. Riley explained to me that I was wrong, and that what the real deal was, and so we'll try the same thing with Coy when we get to that point. But
Yeah.
because that outside was not the preferred line for. Not because it wasn't good dirt, not because it wasn't anything like that, just because it's a challenging deal. So we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah.
So I talked to Jesse about his deal, and he felt like he was strong yesterday. He felt good yesterday, and now all of a sudden today, so right. So I think the time off affected people a little differently. You know, some people are blaming it, and some people are crediting it. You know, for having a break.
Rested
And,
up.
yeah, so I think it goes either way. I don't think you can automatically claim that you didn't ride as much and now it hurts you, because everybody didn't ride as much. Even if they went to regionals, even if they did whatever, right? That stuff is still not the same as what we do at RMX, right? It's not the same as coming here for 3 days straight,
Yeah.
right? No regional is even close to the amount of total riding that riders get here.
Yeah.
So,
All right, let's go on to Schoolboy 1. Some of the same guys. We got Connor Lords going 2-1. Braxton Morgan 1-2. Henry Milliken 3-3.
Millicom went 3-3 in Schoolboy 1.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. He
Wow.
was going good this weekend. I want to say he was second in Super Mini in some of the motos I watched. He got hurt last year, but he's definitely been picking it up later this year.
Yeah, and I think we got Elijah Davis, and he's on a Super Mini or 85?
He's on a Super Mini.
Super
413
Mini.
on the Husky,
Yeah.
around Boise area, I think.
Yeah, Meridian, Idaho.
so literally, Gail gave up Schoolboy 1 to ride that, and most guys would have rode both bikes this weekend, is what most people would have done,
Yeah.
which I would disagree with. I would say you should just stick with one, and he did that, and he didn't have much to say when I talked to him. You know what I mean? He wasn't full of ideas, but he was serious about it. He was down there with his mom today. So I guess for them to do that and commit to the 250F and do it, I don't know if they've been riding a bunch. Did they come to the practices? I don't know if they've been here or where they've been, but
Yeah, I don't see a ton. I don't see the work that he does, but he does it somewhere because he shows up and he can ride a dirt bike.
I feel like Deegan started doing his work on an 85, got going really fast last year, and then broke his collarbone after qualifying for Loretta's. So he was an 85 rider that qualified for Loretta's. He put in the work late last year. That carries over to the 125 when you get a little taller. And to me, his riding style just fits the 250. Like,
Yeah.
he's not one of those that's just all the time. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't just over rev that dirt bike. He rides it smooth. Like, I know it's hard in a 250 moto to hear who's smooth and who's not, because all you hear is rev limiters 90% of the time. But he seems to ride a dirt bike smooth. So I think the 250, the 4-stroke, is his style. So, but that entire group, like, we start the academy tomorrow. James, Morgan, Huffman, Gale, they're all here. Like, so, like, that group we just talked about, they're going to get even faster because they're going to work the next 3 weeks hard.
Yeah, and Crew Kenton was up there. 5th overall, 4.7. Super Mini.
So anybody know what did Crew have an off weekend, good weekend? I haven't been watching the scores overall. Anybody know what's going on with Crew Ketton?
It sounded like him, and his dad was pretty stoked, huh, Sam? He seemed like he came over to us and was telling us he was riding a lot better. I think he had a pretty bad injury a while ago.
Okay.
Yeah, Crew's been dealing with a few injuries. I can't remember what they are. I know around winter time he cased a jump and his neck brace broke his collarbone, and then I last summer he broke his wrist out here practicing. He's dealt with a few issues. He's dealt with a few things, so I think he's just coming back.
The big one was he had a pedal bike accident where it messed with his brain a little bit. The concussion was
His balance and
Yep,
stuff. I
yep,
think is what
yep.
his
And,
dad was saying.
I mean, I know there's all kinds of medical terms, but at the end of the day, just his focus was affected, and it took him a second to figure it out because he had a lot going on, and there was something that came up that probably wouldn't have been caught if it wasn't for the CAT scan that they did because of the concussion, and it just the little guy had some focus issues that were related. It's super complicated, but at the end of the day, he got it all shaken out and fixed, and it was going well. And then he broke his wrist. Then he broke his collarbone. So I don't think we've seen the fastest Crew Kenton's going to go by far. I think that he got his head straight, and then he hasn't even had a full 12 months on the bike. Like, if you add up what he's been able to do since getting that corrected, he's probably got 6 months out of the last 12 on a dirt bike. And keep an eye on him. It goes fast. So that schoolboy class is legit, and he's one of them. While we're sitting here, a new guy to schoolboy, first time in schoolboy. I don't know if we got Carson on camera, but Carson got big wheels. So he bought Sutton's. You got Sean Sutton's Super Minis. Yep. So now so that's the first. You got to ride the Super Mini at the Weimer camp, and then you got to sign up for Schoolboy 1 because you have big wheels. We'll still 3 minutes of your time. You tell us what it's like riding a Super Mini against big bikes for the first time on these gnarly conditions.
I don't know. It was complicated. You really wanted to hold your line and stuff and learn how it was going to be like, but at the same time, you really felt like you fit in because it was really similar. Like, at first I was really scared to hop in with them, but eventually, even riding in open practice with them, I understood it a lot, and I could ride it how I would ride, like, let's say, the normal Super Mini class.
Because I do think that's scary, right? You're racing with 85s and Super Minis, and now all of a sudden you're racing with 125s, and I think it's cool. Like you and Crew, Henry Millicum. I know I'm missing Jackman. There's a bunch of you that go out and race that Schoolboy 1. So
Thank
congratulations, you rode good.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
held your own.
Yeah.
10th place out of 23 guys.
you. Yeah.
That's
Did
killer.
you think you would finish inside the top 10 with that group?
No, not at all.
So we celebrating having some ice cream tonight?
Oh, yeah.
I know where to find some. Thank you, Carson.
Thank you.
On to Schoolboy 2. Gage Wilcox, 101, sweeping it. Cade Christensen, 2-2. Connor Lords, 3-3. Hayden Morgan, 5-4. Jesse James, 4-6. Deegan Gale, 7-5.
So what was that? 3 of the top 5 were those novice riders we just talked about?
Yeah.
And those, I mean, all 3 I don't know if Gale's qualified for Loretta's. Did he catch regionals?
You know, I didn't ask him anything about Loretta's, right? I just asked him about the 250 thing.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't know what
It's-
else he's got going on. I don't know
I
anything
feel
else
like
about
you
that.
did.
Like I was saying, he flies under the radar with me, and then he shows up and does something like that. Like I don't see really what he does. I don't know where. But then he just shows up and gets it done.
Yeah, he was looking good this weekend. That's the first time the 31 KTM stuck out to me at all, and he was running fast. If you got your lap times there, I don't know exactly what motos were his best, but yeah, Gage Wilcox is going fast, and I think Cade Christensen rode really good on Saturday, which was this race.
It's been a lot of the same names over and over, right?
Yeah.
But the surprise was Gage Wilcox is back. Last year at Loretta's, he had qualified on Super Mini, had the potential to have some top 5 rides. I think inside the top 10, easy, and potentially knocking on the door top 5. And he had a golf cart incident. I'm pretty sure he either rode practice on Monday and got hurt later, but I know he didn't get to race any motos. And he left Loretta's in an ambulance from a golf cart incident.
Wow.
Pit riding, 5 miles per hour, please. So,
No dust.
no dust. Yes. Just go back and watch some old ones. No dust.
Nope. Water truck crews soaked pit
Gav was
lanes.
security. Yeah. You're on our crew. You get busted up. You got one limb. You're security. You can't even wave a flag with one limb. So if you're gonna get hurt on our crew, just make sure you have both limbs. You get to do something cool. Otherwise, you get to control kids on pit bikes. But Gage had a golf cart incident at Loretta's. It gnarly. Check out his Instagram. Like, cut up his face, broke tib fib. It was bad.
Wow.
It was a bad
Full
deal.
on car wreck.
Yeah, car wreck.
Jeez.
Full on car wreck. Same reason we don't have a windshield in the Kawasaki Mule, Gunnar Townsend. So, it wasn't his fault. Tiancum was driving, rear-ended another one of our side-by-sides. Gunner's head hit the glass. But that happened to Gage at Loretta's. It went away from dirt bikes for a little while. First I saw Gage was a month ago on a 250F at Tooele practices, and I'm impressed. Like, he's rolling. So I would watch out for Gage Wilcox on a 250F. It was cool to see that name pop in there.
Yeah, if we're talking about him, I want to jump up right over to 450B yesterday. I think he did outstart Cam, both motos or second moto?
Just one moto.
The second one, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he hole shotted. Yeah,
Which
he
is
gated pretty much dead center, and he had a great start. And if you look at his lap times, like if you go back to that Schoolboy 2 with Gage Wilcox, and you look at why he beat Cade Christensen and Connor Lords, I think that all you need to look at is the first two columns, right? So you got a 144 and a 146. So, 146 is the one you care about. So then his competition, right? So Cade Christensen on his first lap, his first real lap, right, was a 150. So he made up 3 seconds on him real quick. And Connor got hung up and did a 152. So that put Connor back big time. But then if you go through the lap times as you get through it, Connor Lords is right there with those guys, even in Schoolboy 2. It doesn't even matter, right? They're pretty much able to do it. So Gage's, what do you call it, right? His first lap or two, right? That's it. So he was someone who was really fast on small bikes, right? And it shows, right? There's a reason that he did really good when he was on small bikes. He was able to go out, lay down fast laps. He obviously rides with instinct, right? He's not having to think it through or look at the track. He's not doing any of that. He's just riding with instinct. And wherever that gets him is where it gets him. And you see that in the early laps. So, yeah, he did. He had a good start. And I would imagine if you looked at the lap times in that moto, you're going to see probably a pretty dang good first lap.
Not often guys outstart Cam Horner. I mean, he's a pretty good starter.
Yep.
And, Gage got him in this second moto, was about 2 seconds a lap faster. His first moto, Moto 2, lap 1, Cam about a half second off, lap 2. Then they're about dead even. Cam was working. I watched that moto. He was going all over the track, inside, outside, everywhere. And they come to this new wall you guys built here. And it looked like Cam hit it third gear, wide open, seat bounced it, must have launched at 70 feet, finally got around him, and then ended up pulling away, and lap times kind of show. I think Wilcox is 7-8 seconds slower his last 2 laps.
So what was his sixth lap in that one, his lap time?
157, and Cam's was 151.
Yep. So, in Gage, I think there's a mental game, right? Motocross, the whole thing's mental. And so everybody everywhere always has a reason why they do what they do. So if you look at his Gage Wilcox's lap 7 against Christensen, he was a 149.1. So his second fastest lap of the entire race was lap 7 from Gage Wilcox in the Schoolboy 2. So that one there, right, that was a little different situation.
Yes.
He was pushing to hold off Cade, Connor, Jesse James, all those guys were right there on him, and he rode it to the end. That deal there, right, once Cam got around him, that was a little different story. So I think he still does have it, right? I mean, you can say you've been off and this and that, but he's still got the fitness. I think he's still there. It's just mental, right? He's just got to put his head down and go, right? He did it. If a kid that hasn't raced in how long can come out and keep his lap times within 2 seconds for 7 laps, clearly he can do it.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So
My prediction, we see Gage Wilcox in the pro class sooner than later, and we see him working hard and surprising all of us.
Yeah, so at first I thought he was in the pro class, and Cam had just caught up to him. And I was like, damn, this guy does not want to get past. And then he just turned it on. And then I talked to Joe. He said, no, they left at the same time.
He had a really solid, run on mini bikes. I mean, when you look at what he did on a super mini going into Loretta's last year, and I just think that being back on the bike for 30 days, like it's coming. So it's cool. Add one more to the mix, right? There's a lot of speed here.
Yeah.
And we just that group of Open AM, B riders, Schoolboy 2 riders, it's all the same kids. You can go through the list, and it's the same kids week in, week out, and we just added one.
So what's the hold up on the pro class then? He's not going to Loretta's. That's generally the reason people hold back. I mean, you talk to him. They're going A next
I
race?
have not talked to him.
Oh.
That's just everyone goes pro for different reasons, right?
Sure.
Like there's some guys that stay amateur till they're 18. There's some guys that turn pro at 14. Sometimes it's funding. You can
Sure.
win money at a local race versus spend money.
Yep.
Um,
How old is he?
I don't even think he can drive himself here, can he?
He might be 16. If I had to guess, I would say 16.
Yeah,
Sure.
he's
So he's about the
16
same
at
age as
best.
him.
I would
Yeah.
say 15, 16. I haven't seen him drive himself to the dirt bike track. He's usually with
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Haywoods or someone. When he was coming out to Tooele, he was always the passenger. So I don't know for sure, but 15, 16. He was on a Super Mini last year, so he can't be more than 16.
Let's go right into 450C. We talked about some of these guys in the 250C moto. Deegan Gale, 1-1. Jesse James, 3-2. Braxton Morgan, 2-3. I watched this moto. Braxton Morgan on the 125. Held off Jesse James the whole time. Did the exact same thing. Followed a lapper to the inside. And if we go to these lap times, which are pretty insane, lap 2, 156.6, 156.3 for Brax. I mean, they're just a couple tenths off. And we get all the way to lap 5, a 155.93 and 155.94 for Braxton Morgan. I think Jesse James just beat him to the outside. I mean, the whole fence line was hollering. It was intense. He ran into another lapper, right? Just sticking to his line that he'd hit every moto, did not want to give it up, and it cost him a 100th of a second. Lost them. Yeah, so he finished third overall.
It's line selection.
Gosh, it was intense.
It's line selection.
I mean, everybody was just hollering. They couldn't believe it.
It was really gnarly.
Yeah.
I was watching it and how they just kind of set it up, and then that inside you can really kind of hop over the whoops better, and outside you're more set up for doubling in the outside. And watching, Jesse when he passed Brax because of the lapper, he had a pretty good start, but once Brax caught that inside whoop and he was like rolling him kind of, it gained him an extra second instantly, and it was photo finish.
Yeah, it was an exciting race to watch for sure.
I mean, it's back to the whole. I mean, probably one of the biggest differences between the C class to the B class and the B class to the A class. I don't know that there's a whole lot of speed difference. I mean, these guys are all rolling. Lap times show it when they have a clear track. To me, what's cool is what are their lap times when they get a bad start? What are their lap times going through traffic? What are their lap times leading a moto coming into lappers? What type of executive decisions do they make? And I do think that's the difference between, a 25-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 15-year-old racing a dirt bike. Whether it's A, B, and C, it's experience, right? And I would say, I mean, Brax doesn't make that mistake next week, right? That's the experience that they're learning, and they're all learning, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I can't quite remember, but he probably hasn't beat Jesse James that many times, huh? Or held him off for the entire with him. I mean, they were wheel to wheel, all over each other.
I think they go back and forth.
Do they?
I haven't watched a ton of their motos. I catch some every once in a while, but I mean, anytime I look, it could be either one of them in front of the other.
So at Delta, it was the 250F 125 thing, which you could see it a little more, and I know Tiancum argued with me about that. But I think at this track, 125 to 450, you might be able to take some different lines. But I think, the 125 definitely can do the job, and I talked to Connor a little bit about that, which is the line choice outside. You got to do it a little differently, but I think I think it's a little more even, I suppose. I don't feel like it's as big a horsepower difference where there's a few spots at Delta that it makes a difference. So I think that's, I'm not saying that's why they were closer together this time, but it definitely didn't seem to be, it didn't look like they were riding different motorcycles. They looked like they were riding the same bike, like they were just doing what they were doing.
Open Am, One moto format is typically a long moto Saturday. Cam Horner, Gage Wilcox, Jace Allred on a what was he
He's
on?
Yamaha 125.
Is that what he was on there? And then Cade Christensen, Sophia Phelps, Connor Lords. So pretty cool. I think, what is this? Jace Allred's first race on 125?
Might be a second, but yeah.
Figuring it out pretty quick.
Yeah, I think he's going to come around quick. They couldn't even find 125s, right? They're hard bikes to get right now. So
Why Yamaha, not a KTM? They seem to be a KTM family, right?
yes, their daughter has Orange Brigade support. I believe Jace has a little Orange Brigade support, but that is Hayden Villarreal's bike. So it was a really cool 125 build, Villarreal Performance. Hayden has a performance shop and does a lot of bike work for the Allreds. So if you're looking for some bike work, there's a little plug for Hayden. He's a good kid. Was Christian Craig's mechanic.
Right on.
All year long. When Craig went to Star from the Honda deal, Hayden came back to Utah, opened back up his performance shop. He had a 125 that he built, and it's a pretty slick machine, and sold it to Allreds, and it's a bike for Jace to ride because keeping a 120 or a Super Mini on the track is painful. And at this point, they'll ride their Super Minis as much as possible, but they'll build them, get them ready for Loretta's, and the Yamaha is strictly just what was available. But he likes it, and he gels with it.
He looked good. We got plus 20 open. Surprisingly, a stacked class more than normal. We got Colton Dean, Kyson Palmer, Wyatt Linesmith, Parker Sampson, Caden Palmer, Keaton Pace.
It worked.
So-
It worked.
It did.
We have riders that aren't training all the time, that are good dirt bike riders, that rode the pro class, that don't want to wait till plus 25 to come back. Plus 20 worked. The Palmers came out. It worked.
Yeah,
It-
it gives
it's
guys
cool.
that just have a 450, if they're in the pro class or whatever they're in, it gives them 2 classes to ride on Saturday, so they're not sitting around all day.
And if I hear the term sandbagger, I'm going to call BS because it clearly says open. So there is no sandbagging in open class. It's not possible. It's not possible.
I mean, McCoy was in this one. Were you? It has you scored.
I don't have time to practice on Saturdays because I'm
And
running
that's what-
around. Got my radio on. I'm just running around, so that's my practice.
Oh,
First
okay.
moto plus 20 open, just
Did
line
you
up.
start?
Huh?
Did you start with everyone?
He didn't get a very good start.
I roll up right before gate drop, roll off the gate, and then go
Oh, okay.
ride
Yeah.
around.
I didn't see you.
I don't
over there.
like excuses. He didn't get a very good start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bad
for
start.
for as talented as you are, your starts need to be better.
My starts are really bad.
But it is pretty wicked to watch him just freaking charge from all the way
But-
back through everyone, every moto.
But it is plus 20 open. No, it's not cool.
It's cool.
it's not cool
Plus
when you're
20
back
open is serving a purpose, and I love it, right?
Yeah,
There
it's
is
cool.
a lot of dudes coming out that raced. When the Palmers raced 85 beginner on this property 8 years ago when they got into the sport. They've been away for a little bit, Palmer Compound, racing their 110s, and they come out, they have 450s, they want to have some fun, they ride plus 20 open, they ride 450, they rode open today. To me, plus 20 brings some bikes out. Colton Dean is coming back from an injury. People could say he's in the pro class. He shouldn't ride plus 20 open. Yeah, he should. It's called plus 20 open. He's 20, and it's open. So he rode it. And I think it's cool. And it pays contingency. So more people should ride it. You get paid.
Cut that part out. There's enough
Well,
of you fast guys in there.
Sam, it pays contingency if you podium.
Top 3.
Yeah. It's just like trophies. You get trophies if you finish up front. Did you know that?
I tried.
Okay.
Yeah,
You clearly try hard. Yeah. Yeah. Talent and gravity got you as well.
Yeah, and Maddie Taylor hopped in this one and the plus 20 BC as well. So she got 4 more motos that typically you wouldn't get
Yeah.
at other races, which is cool for her, Oh, let's go right into some pro racing, Joe. You ready for this? I know you've just been sitting back waiting for this one. 450A
Joe's got his
Pro.
notepad out there about what he wants to talk about.
Can we stop for 1 second?
Please.
I just want to know top 3 in the pro class, Rai. I want to see if you actually pay attention to anything other than ice cream and 50 racing. Top 3 pro class. You're on the spot. Who was it?
I really don't know.
Can you even tell me who won?
Probably Chance Imus.
There you go.
Thank you for participating in the show. Joe, you're up.
So starts, I guess. Let's start with that. So we're talking about yesterday's class, right? We're talking about the yesterday 450 Pro class,
Yes.
Saturday one. So let's see your lap sheet there, huh?
Yeah,
Um,
so it's Moto 2. I got Moto 1.
Yep. Yep. So Chance held it. You're right. I mean, he came around first. Riley,
Moto 1.
Yep, Moto 1. Yeah, Riley was 3 seconds off on the second one, 2 seconds off on the next one, and then Riley had a bad lap. So he's 7 seconds back, and then he's back to 3 seconds, 4 seconds. So I think ultimately, that it happens. When the track's like that, you're going to have it. Chance didn't have it, right? He didn't have a bad lap. You could say his last one was 3 seconds off his first one or whatever, but obviously he was able to do it, right? But that just shows that the technical rider. I mean, he's a technical rider. He can do both. It was good for Riley. I think we talked about Coy starts before. It does matter, right? In the 20 plus, it's a little different story, right? We get it. We're just riding to ride. But in this one, you got to do it. You got to go. What do you think, Coy? If you would have had the start, what would have been different?
I don't know. My second moto, I didn't even ride good yesterday. I will say today, I finally didn't start last. I was in third behind Riley,
Yep.
and Riley decided to lay down in front of me. So,
The split
yeah,
right
split
here.
lane here, just
Yeah.
decided to lay down. And
He went
I
down
hopped
pretty
the
hard.
berm. I think everyone behind us hopped the berm just
Yeah.
to not run him over.
We were just talking C-class line selection. So someone laid down in front of you in a split lane, and you followed them through the split lane?
Maybe
And,
that's
and
the
the
pro
split
tip
lanes have
there.
multiple line choices in them as well.
Yeah, but first lap.
I'm gonna
when
leave
you're
this.
doing-
Oh, I know.
Yeah, they look narrow from a distance, but you got to remember there's a dozer width on each side of the banners. So just because from the pits that looks like a trail on each side of the banner, that's not the case, right? There's 8 feet on both sides, and where you want to go in that. So there's a couple lines on each one.
And where,
There's 9.5 feet. It's a D5.
Gary, where are we
Okay.
at with guys going inside to inside,
I'm here
cutting
for
through the
sarcasm.
banner?
That's right.
Where you at on that, Coy?
There was only one.
Put up
person
more
that did
banner.
Inside, is that not allowed? Is that protest
He
worthy?
did it
It's-
past the banner, so that's course marker guy's fault.
Okay.
Burkeen says if it was a brick wall, would you have done it? Right? That's what Burkeen tells us all the time.
Apparently
So
a
if it
brick
was a
wall.
brick wall, we should build a brick wall and make a brick wall split.
We'll start a GoFundMe.
Okay. See, we can both do sarcasm if we want to.
I feel like I don't like course cutting. I don't like cheating, but I also don't look at. We
fan of
need to mark our
creativity.
course better.
Are you a fan of creativity?
I'm a fan of creativity, and I like the challenge of marking it better. And when it's marked clear, and you do it, you will get docked.
Okay.
If it's questionable and you do it, we're in a bad spot. Usually, someone gets their ass chewed and marks the course better the next morning.
So if they're not ripping through ribbons,
If you come to the finish line with ribbon on your bike, like that's not a good thing for all kinds of things. If I watch you mow down a SpongeBob, if I watch you go inside a SpongeBob multiple times, if we put the SpongeBob in a weird spot, so we pay attention. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. The split lane is meant to be a split lane. Do we take the time to make it wider so that we can put a row of straw belts down the center of it, and it's impossible? We've tried that. Causes some grooming issues. We've tried the ribbon and lath. Some sketchy dude blows through it, gets knocked down. We don't realize it. Promoto comes up. Some creative dude sees the gone ribbon, not down, it's gone, and uses the line. I don't know. That's debatable. So, yeah, someone used it. I don't think it changed the outcome of the race because that person fell over later, so it's not a big deal.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I like it.
Get creative.
Yeah, mix it up.
Get creative.
Don't say that.
No, like it's the same reason that we
Don't
mark
give
the
anyone-
outside of stuff at Delta, right? If we don't mark the outside, you're going to use the water truck road and you're going to hit the uphill triple, no big deal. We mark the outside. We're not going to get in a big debate about was he cheating, was he not cheating, he was in the water truck road. Really, there was no course marker, so we put up more course marker. We started with 10 SpongeBobs, we went to 15. Like I think we're at 30. Like we're at 30 SpongeBobs and we use straw bales.
Yellow track markers.
Oh yeah.
Tires.
Yeah, tires. Yeah.
Pretty cool. No, I only rode one moto yesterday. I don't know. You guys comment. Ruts weren't that close to tires this year.
Okay, super simple, right? Why none of us thought about it sooner, I don't know, but now the tires are at the beginning of the turn, not the center of the turn. Problem solved. Yo, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Practice number 1 is now pro and intermediate.
No.
Practice number
No
1
way.
used to be novice.
No.
And they stood straight
way.
up and went around right
Nope.
next to the tire. And then the next bike laid over and the rut didn't work.
Nope.
So to me, that would be my take.
No.
And there's not a tire down.
I bought shifters, I bought brake levers, I bought all that stuff. That tire on the start is in the perfect location. It's perfect. It's at the beginning of the turn. You can come in as tight as you want and make the corner. Bearing the tires deep, which is the old way, long before you came here. You know, those tires were here before, you know, you were barely out of diapers. Those tires were buried in the ground over here, right? They're that old. You know what I'm saying? You can see, Gary. You guys can imagine it, right? Gary in diapers, like around the house, right? That's how long they've been here.
I do agree with Joe because I mean, if the tire's in the middle and we mark it, course marker gets ran over on a start, and then dudes are just goat trailing around the tire.
Yep.
But I mean, if you're gonna take a rut around a tire, you run the risk of ripping your
Yep.
shifter off.
So
That's
problem
the-
Can
solved.
we-
Tires are early. Problem solved. No
Yeah.
shifters. No
I-
issues. No drama. Track's great. No
Can we
problems.
give credit to the fact that we swapped? Do you remember
Nope.
how 2 years ago
Nope.
we had novice
Nope.
motos first?
Nope.
Don't you think the lines are better?
No.
They're
No.
not?
This
Uh,
no. It is pandemonium out there.
Sam
Sam
says
says
lines are
yes.
better.
Well, I watched practice this morning with open big bikes. So Sunday we do open big bike practice, and I watched first guy come around an intermediate, a few feet off the tire, roll a rut. Next guy came around, wasn't an intermediate, just right around the tire.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Cam did say, you know, he said that he liked the ruts better yesterday. You know, he went out at the beginning of the practice. He was not thrilled about that. It was totally different than what he dealt with before. But as far as it always forms different, the dirt's always a little different. You'd think that in 1,000 times we could do it the same way twice. It's impossible. You know, this isn't compacting gravel with a certain moisture with a certain roller. It's not that. I can do it 1,000 times the same. We can't do it. Like, it doesn't matter who's in charge. It doesn't matter. You're going to get a little different track every day. And so, yeah, it's fine. Whichever way you do it, there's pros and cons to it. But, yeah, course mark.
Get creative. Like, right? You come to the Weimar camp, they tell you to use the edges of the track. We're going to mark where as far as you can go, and you should ride every inch that's unmarked. And at an RMX race, please don't do it, but you should. If a course marker's down, use the damn line. At Loretta's, if you don't use that line that's down, like, I'll chew your ass, right? Like, we got to go fast. We got to take advantage of every single second you can find. If their course marking guys are not smart enough to go stand that back up, use it. Right? And if their race official comes and argues with you, get Joe. He'll help you. But at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
we'll talk
There's no
about
brick
it.
wall.
I promise. We'll go up there.
but
There's
no,
not
I
a
mean,
brick
in
wall
all
right
honesty,
now.
like,
That's
we
right.
get it. Course markers fall down. Parents are saying, cheater line. Not really. He was still inside the course marker. Our staff will go get that stood back up. So it's fun.
No, I think
It's a
that
challenge.
part of it's fine. It's good.
But the track's, it's creative. It's cool that we have kids that are smart enough to use that line.
Right.
So if someone saw that the ribbon was down during a pro moto and jumped through it, good for them. The other 11, dude, use it.
you might get ran into by a number 482 if you take a creative line. Just a warning.
Let's go.
There is in the pro moto, there's a course marshal in the moto.
In the
Yeah.
kind of like the after 9/11. What's the guy on the plane? The what is that? Air marshal.
Yeah. Yeah, we have we have a course marshal mid moto. So if the race official misses it,
He'll-
you know because you feel him come by and get you back on course.
He guides you. like a sheep herder in the night.
That may or may not have happened in second moto of Open Pro today.
So we touch on 458 Moto 2 yesterday. Colton Dean outstarted Hymus. First lap, he was 0.8 faster. Something, I don't know. When's the last time Hymus got outstarted, really?
It's been close. Like it's where you want to draw the whole shot line. Like it's close, but
He's
Who-
10 feet out of the gate. 10 feet out of the gate. Everyone's staring at his back fender, and then all the 450s give it a handful, and they go right by him.
Yeah, but I
would
can't
know because
remember.
I'm behind those 450s, so I see all
See,
of it.
get a good
I see
view.
all of it, and I see them go by chance, and I don't because I'm that far back.
How often is he? He's not first to the finish line though. He usually gets around pretty quick if he doesn't get the start.
Would ask right, but he doesn't pay attention.
He didn't pay attention.
You saw it was the same thing with Cam and Gage Wilcox. You
Right,
saw
following.
Cam's lap times were worse when he had Wilcox in front of him, dealing with him, dealing with the track, and dealing with that. And that's the thing with Hymus, right? I mean, he's going to do it. He's going to get around him. It's going to happen. But it changes the whole deal when you don't have clear track. It's
I
a
think he
different
should
story.
start 30 seconds back and let us have more fun watching the motos. That's just my take.
That's what Coy does. And it's way more fun to watch. We already established that.
It's awesome. I'm a fan.
It's great.
Start in the back and just
Start in the back,
charge through.
stop being a wuss, and earn it.
But it's cool. We had a good pro group again. Hey, whoa, Kyle Gills.
Cool.
Dude,
Dude's a badass. Did
Gnarly.
anyone see his hand?
He showed me the picture. I went to thank him for the backpack on behalf of him and Fly Racing. I said, "What's up with the hand?" I heard about it. It's not good. It's bad.
That
And he looked great.
he motoed Sunday. That, like, I mean, I wouldn't even get out of bed.
did he
Like,
get
I
fit
would.
in the second open moto today? thought I saw his
Gills went
Honda.
7.5.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
at work, Fly Racing, tearing down one of their displays or something, cutting some zip ties, stuck a knife right through the meat of his hand, right in the
Yep.
thumb. Like he
Deep.
got a whole.
Deep.
Bad.
You can see tendons.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. So what does he do? Grip glue, not Pro Taper stuff, because he uses the Renthal stuff.
Right.
Yeah, they distribute that. So he used the Western Power Sports brand. I think it's called Firepower, but he used their grip glue, a little gauze, and some tape, and got here at 12:30 in the morning.
And
Watched
ripped some
Friday,
starts.
watched Saturday, decided Sunday he'd race. Less than 72 hours from sticking a knife through his hand, and held on to.
An Open Pro.
Yeah.
He won his 38 motos.
Mhm.
Won one.
Yeah.
I did see him make a mistake. I told him, I said, that was really weird. I wonder what was wrong with you. You never see a mistake out of him, right? Kind of tipped over
But-
here. And
But back to Kyle Gills is a badass. Western Power Sports is unbelievable.
Super
Fly
cool.
Racing, they only hire cool guys. Thanks Western, thanks Fly, and Gills will be around forever racing dirt bikes.
can we talk about him hole shot in Daytona?
Sure.
I was watching old YouTube videos like I do, and they're like, Kyle Gills. I'm like, no shit. I had no idea who he was. I just seen him out here. I'm like, wow, that guy's got killer style. And then you listen to, like, I go back and listen to old pulp shows. They're talking about him training with Wyndham. I think, oh, okay. Starts to make a little bit of sense, right?
Yeah, he's not from Boise. We don't hold that against him. He's from Mississippi.
He's from Mississippi.
He's from Mississippi.
Oh.
Yeah.
yeah.
Huh.
That
He's-
explains why he's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I want us to go to Loretta's, right? He gets back, it's a little closer to home. He's got family around there. You
Oh,
know,
that's
so,
cool.
So that whole thing's a big deal. He's not just like, oh, I've never been there from out west or whatever, never seen it. It's more like home for him. And
Yeah, mom and dad come.
Yep.
The in-laws come. Southern hospitality.
Ah, it's killer.
That's Kyle. Kyle and Nikki are like top-notch people.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we can't skip away from pro racing if you don't acknowledge what Kyle Gills did with that hand today.
Yeah, let's talk about this Open Pro Moto. Moto 1. Yeah, we had, I think, Kyson Palmer got the start. Caden Palmer right behind him. And, yeah, they went 140, and his brother went 141. Chance Hymus 143. So the Palmer brothers, good at starts, came through, a little bit of a lead. Not that much gas in the tank, though. Chance Hymus got around him pretty quick. Colton Dean finishing second. He went 2-3 for second overall. Riley, 5-2. I would like to talk about Riley in the first moto. He went off the track right here before the start, or before the finish. Looked over, saw Colton Dean coming back up the hill right here. Proceeded to jump from the outside of the track, crowd across 5 ruts, give Dean a little look over, kept going, just barely grazed him. That's all clean. Just, why wait? You know, and, I mean, he walked away from him.
I like to see that aggression out of Riley.
It was, yeah, right?
Yeah.
It was cool. You never, he's usually just mellow, I'll get you later,
Yeah,
let him go.
I think we're starting to see angry Riley a little more. You know, and I guess, you know, I'm all for it, right? I mean, Coy and I get along good, both pretty angry people, you know, pretty touchy. And I like to see Riley just ramping it up right now because you don't want to mess with him out there,
No.
right? And he's
That
getting
scared me, and I was on
bigger
this side
too.
of the
He's
fence.
getting bigger, like he's getting older,
Grumpier.
more grizzly, bigger. Like it's coming.
Oh, Big Grumpy is here. Can we have you for 5 seconds? Big Grumpy. What did you call me?
Do you feel like
we're
he's
talking
coming?
about it right now.
Feel like he's coming over to beat your ass?
I know.
Just for saying that.
I'm glad he has
That's what
a
I'm
baby.
talking
I'm like,
about.
surely
The
he
fact
can't
that
have
he's
too
holding
bad
a
with
baby.
in his hands.
The
he
fact
might
that
use
even-
it as a weapon.
There you go. See, it even crossed your mind. See, anything's possible with him now.
I know.
All right, come here, Maddie. What do you think?
You want to sit down, Riley?
Right? You guys stand up. Yeah, you like standing up?
You got an elder
Okay.
coming in, and by elder we mean elder.
So we were talking about, I think maybe it was 450A, got you mixed up. You went off the track right here and proceeded to jump across all the ruts and make sure you did not let Colton Dean get back in front of you. And it was cool. We were just talking about
That's
how we
great.
don't see, usually you would see you just go ahead, I'll get you here in a bit. And you turned it up and you were hammering. It was cool to see.
I was feeling good this weekend, so I made that little mistake, and it wasn't an incident where you fall off of the track and you have the opportunity to gain a bunch of time. I made a full 180 where everybody else was making a 90, you know, so I was like, well, I'm not losing any time here, so if I have time to jump back on in front of him, I'm going to do it. So
It was cool.
that was pretty much
cool.
that. Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else did we have going on in the promo? Oh, we had Wyatt Lyonsmith finally catch up to
Hey, this is not for you.
Caden Palmer. Which one's on the white one?
Caden, 99.
Caden is
Okay, so
99.
Kyson. He
Kyson
caught
is
back
88.
up to Kyson put Wyatt over this berm. Did we already talk about this on the show, or was this before show?
I think it was before show.
Yeah. So he slammed Wyatt pretty good in the plus 20 and put him over that berm. I think I heard it from here. It was a little nuts. So we come into Open Pro right here, super tight. I think Palmer tried to brake check Lyonsmith. Coy said he saw him do it back there, so I think Lyonsmith knew it was coming. Immediately cut inside, ran him off the track, put him on the ground.
Yep.
You didn't see this. You wheelied over his bike.
Oh,
Just his
I
rear
saw it.
tire.
Yeah.
Not bad. Just wheelied over,
Yeah.
proceeded to race.
Yeah.
You got double
Yeah.
middle fingers to your
Yeah.
back.
I
as
was
you were
wondering
riding.
if they were to me or to Wyatt. Probably both, but
Or
either way, I don't really care.
for each.
But yeah, that was all they had after that. But it was the crowd was cheering when Wyatt
Yeah.
put him on the ground. They were cheering.
It was like some kind of reunion or something around here this weekend in the pro class. I think that's how it ought to be, right? You know, it's
It
great.
was cool.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good.
it was exciting.
Yeah, it was high level racing. There's a lot of action, and most people can't even ride that track consistently for 5 laps, even 4 laps, let alone ride that track and still have stuff like that going on, right? I mean, shenanigans is the overused word right now, but I think that's what was happening out
Yeah.
there. We had a little bit of everything happening, and that made for great racing. You know, it was good.
I think you kind of got a little cut off through the big rollers. You were trying to work your way through. There was a lot of that. You could see him cutting all the way over. And a few guys had to roll the last few ones, some slamming. Coy coming over the middle hump of the track, just coming off the track to avoid a hard collision. It was fun. I enjoyed the crap out of that race, man.
Yeah, they keep things interesting. I think that's the way that they want it. So I don't, whatever.
It was awesome. What else we got? That's all.
Pro tip from Riley was?
Yes.
Pro tip from Riley.
don't wash the front end.
All right, Riley. If you want, I'll make it easy on you, and
Okay.
I'll start it with Coy, and then you can see what you say about
Go
it.
for it.
Okay, so that we're talking about the right-hand corner before the finish,
Okay.
right before the rollers, right? So we come in, you come over the jump, you go right, which that turn is super easy, right? So pro tip, right? I mean, it can't be that complicated. You come over that, you let go of the brakes, try to not break through the braking bumps. You can probably, you guys are doing that in third, no problem. You're rolling that in third, and then you shift down. But when you go left, but when you go right, yesterday, Coy, and I don't know if you saw it or you felt it, but you hit the outside one time, turned right, and you carried more speed through the rollers than anybody else I saw all weekend. And so I guess you and I did it last time. We're going to do it this time. You tell me why you could hit the outside of that corner, turn, and get the bike going straight without upsetting the bike. Because by the time you get to the outside, you got to be going faster, which then upsets the bike, stands it up. So what are you doing? And you didn't put your leg out. So let's hear it.
I mean, really just committing to it and looking ahead. If you know you're going there and you're fully committed, you look ahead and you put the bike where you want it, and then at that point.
So you got to stop. We got to break that down. When you say look ahead, so most riders are coming to that. They might see where they're coming. They might look at the exit of the turn. But by then, are you shifting from second to third as you come down that? Or are you still in second when you make that corner?
I'm in the same gear through that whole S.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're still in second. You haven't shifted yet. So how far out are you looking when you start the corner? Are you looking 2 rollers up?
I come. As soon as you come out of the left, I'm staring at where I'm going to put my front wheel in the berm.
Okay, so Carson, right? You see what he just said? He literally is looking from one corner all the way to the next corner.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. So because then his brain has time to figure out what's about to happen next.
So and then as soon as my bike's in it, then I'm staring at, because I tried to triple into those rollers.
I
Then
saw
I'm
that.
staring at that third bump just to get the bike to head there.
Yeah.
And then at that point, as long as I keep the front wheel high and keep the rear wheel driving, then it gives me that drive.
So what do you think, Riley? Is there some kind of body mechanic, something else that's allowing him to do that? Because all he said is, I just got to look ahead and commit to it. But if it was that easy, right, we'd all do it. He's doing something else on the bike that most of us aren't doing.
That's a hard one to say. I don't know.
High speed,
you
downhill,
can
off
talk
camber, right-hand corner. I mean,
we coach kids for days on technique. You can talk for days about technique and what you should be doing, but I mean, camp starts Monday.
yeah, there you go.
First I saw
Okay.
you do it was like third, maybe fourth lap, right?
Yep.
So were you setting that up? Because it looked like you were really hugging this first left. It looked like, so the first few laps, lap 1, 2, 3, you were really hugging it, like you were thinking about it.
I started that in practice this morning.
So
The
you
last
kinda
lap,
knew
the
you
last
were
lap
gonna
of
do it.
practice, I set that line, turned back around, did it again, made sure that line was there.
Oh, okay.
And so I set that up in practice
So
just in case I
when
needed
we
it.
saw you hit it and hammer, you knew before you landed off this jump you were going to the outside.
Yeah.
So I think that's what people expect out of the RMX Academy. You know, it's got to be broke down. We got to think about it. We got to come up with a way to teach Carson how to do the same thing, right? So we got to have a little bit of ABC so you can teach it. Okay, I scoped it out in advance. What did I use my practice for? Did I just go out there and go crazy and try to see how close I can get to the SpongeBob's and the tires? Or are we going to do something out there? We're going to think about that, right?
Can we talk about that, though? Because we go out and practice, and we just follow the next guy and the next guy and the next guy.
And the first guy is wide open because he thinks he needs to win.
Yeah. So then the Instagram post is, great weekend, didn't work out exactly like I wanted, track was a little one-lined. How about we just go make a second line in practice? Like, we just heard that from the pro class. I made a line. I set that up in case I needed it later. Like, that to me, like the pro tip thing, make lines in practice, guys. Like, there's your lines. And then we can...
Plenty of good dirt out there to do it.
Yeah.
No excuse.
We can walk out there right now and find places on that track
Untouched.
that have not seen a dirt bike tire. Like, make lines. Use practice for practice. Anyways, that's what I heard in pro tip.
I think I completely agree with that.
You guys want to go right into pro tip for the next round? Where are we at next round, Riley? 80 acres? Any pro tips there? Have you guys ridden there yet?
I've rode there once. Yeah, don't know a whole lot about it. I can't really speak to how the track is going to be. Pro tip for the track specifically. I said this in Delta, or do you want to take over? I said this in Delta about this one. Like, I mean, I don't know how people handled it or whatever, but I think one of my pro tips for this one was get ready for the heat because we hadn't seen heat yet. We just got it. It was brutal. I don't know what it's going to be like. I would assume it's going to be hot.
There's no storms in the forecast, so
Right.
plan on upper 90s, mid to upper 90s.
Yeah.
We're still up in this valley, right? We're 14 miles from here, so luckily we're not down on the Wasatch Front, or so we are going to have a little bit of a break, but we're still going to be mid to upper
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if this race kicked your ass, don't sit in the AC for however many weeks until the next race. Get out, get running in the heat, get sweating, get it figured out.
Yeah, don't be driving to work with the AC blasting. It's windows down, no air conditioning. Just
Don't drive to work. Run to work.
RMX has a handle.
I think something to think about is this. The tracks that you go and practice on open practice days are not going to be the tracks that you race, including what we do. It's not that we come in and do anything different, but we have the RMX Academy here for the next 3 weeks. Dudes are building speed. Dudes are getting ready for Loretta's. They need to see bumps, right? Well, if this track's 35 feet wide and we have 30 dudes here, it's not going to get that bumpy. If this track's 20 feet wide and we have 30 dudes here, it's going to get bumpy. So you're going to see this track right here a little bit narrow so that you can't find the smooth line. You're having to learn how to deal with it. So track owners that are helping you develop, it's different. It's not always the same. So you might have went there on a practice day and said, ooh, the track's narrow. But it was a practice track that day. So a race track is going to be different. So I'm meeting Mike Cardall with 80 Acres Monday, so tomorrow. We're going to look at it and come up with some ideas to take a riding or practice track and turn it into a racetrack. Sand, lots of water.
Will there be a open practice day before the RMX round there?
I don't know about that, but there will be Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, you'll have Friday practice. I don't know that there'll be a weekend practice. That's going to be something to watch their Instagram at 80 Acres. But the plan is to put a lot of water on it, the week before, and maybe a little bit of sand, and have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
It's 14 miles from right here. So there's 2 tractors, 3 dozers, 4 water trucks, short little transport over there. It's going to be fun.
Nice and easy. Anything else? Cache Valley? That's a wrap. Thanks, Pocatello Power Sports, for the sand.
Yeah, Pocatello Power Sports for the sand. The flaggers. Holy cow.
Dang, they stood out there and worked their butts off.
31 and a half hours is what those kids logged in the last 3 days. 31 and a half hours in the sun flagging. So thank you. They killed it.
Yeah, Coy out there in full moto gear, running around, picking up kids. What is that? Who was it? Gunnar Townsend.
Gunnar Townsend.
Rain was like, that is unbelievable. That kid should get Employee of the Year. He was, and what'd you say, Kerry? What's more of a perfect kid for that? Doesn't get upset, just puts his head down, picks up 3,000 kids every day, and flags, and
He gets upset.
his
He
butts
just
off.
releases it through the radio really quick, and then he moves on. So I've learned some new vocabulary from Gunnar. But, it's cool to have racers out there helping racers. They get it, right? I don't think people realize how much communication's going through those headsets. You may think someone went past the crash. They're going to the face of the jump. The flaggers got the takeoff. But in some classes, that's not enough. And Gunnar will get 20 feet ahead of the face of the jump and be waving his flag. So as a parent in the stands looking here, you might think that there's one flag waving. You don't even realize someone's in front of that face slowing the kids down, and it's Gunnar Townsend. And he takes the safety side of it pretty serious. Or not pretty serious, really serious. But yeah, Gunnar's the little dude on the Honda 125. That's another Pocatello Power Sports machine. Jamie's out there on the Let's Ride four-wheeler helping us out. Action Cycle and Sleds, Rob Gladowski, Kawasaki Mule that's rolling around out there. There's some cool shops helping us keep these kids safe. There's really good staff there. Jackson Royal ran the start gate all day Saturday, got heat stroke.
threw up a little bit.
Yeah,
Super hot.
yeah, and didn't say a word. Just was like, well, I'll go puke and drop the next gate. Like, he was not hungover. He's not a drinker. He's just not smart enough to drink water. So yeah, he's not a drinker. So he's like, well, I don't drink water. I don't drink beer. I don't drink.
Doesn't drink nothing.
Yeah, we got to work on that with Mr. Royal. So he killed it. The girls down in staging, as always. Megan Horner was down there again. Mac Johnson helped her this time. So Mac was down there learning how to run staging. Those guys are phenomenal. Scorekeepers are phenomenal. It was cool. But Cache Valley MX, it's fun to race here. I don't know where this cloud was on race day.
It's amazing.
Yeah, this is nice. But 80 acres in 2 weeks, a little bit of a break. Some kids are going to Loretta's, family vacations, and then we're back here.
Awesome. So we'll see everybody 2 weeks, 80 acres, new track. Got anything, Joe?
No, sounds good, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Enjoy the backpack.
Thank you for the backpack.